guys, welcome back to my Practically Imperfect Life. Pardon the a little bit disheveled appearance. I was actually not intending to film tonight, but I came home and I had a ton of packages from books I've ordered for our upcoming homeschool year. And I haven't even opened them yet, most of them. I've got a few that I've been getting over the last couple of weeks, but I got like 10 last night. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a homeschool book haul, open them all up with you guys, and just talk about what we're using these books for. Now, even if you're not using the same curriculum that we are or doing the same books and literature that we are, I always like to see what kind of books people are grabbing, because maybe it's something that I want to pick up to read. Maybe I have a child who's interested in that subject and that might be something to look at. Or if you're looking for future books to add to your homeschool library, gives you some ideas. Now, I am actually very big on trying to find deals on books. I like to scour for sales and things like that. So a lot of my books I did purchase off of Amazon, but I purchased them used off of Amazon. So it's really nice because when you go and you look up a book on Amazon, you can actually click where it says, it'll say like new and used from, and then it'll give a dollar amount. And if you click on that, it's going to open up a whole bunch of different places that have the book available, and you can have it sort it to where it'll show you the price from like low to high, including shipping. So some of them will ship for free, some will have a cost plus an amount in shipping, and I just look for the one that's in the best shape for the best price. So I don't usually buy ones that look like they're like just barely acceptable. I'm pretty sure everything that I picked either was like new or in good condition. So I try to buy books that look pretty good because I want to have them in our library for a while to come. So without further ado, let's go through this book haul here. So the first couple of books I have are for my son's Modern American History class. We have a DK biography book on Harry Houdini, photographic story of a life. So lots and lots of pictures in this one. This is probably going to be a pretty simple read, but if you have a student who's interested in Harry Houdini or likes magic or magicians, this could be a fun one to do. And the Nathan Hale Hazardous Tale books are almost always on their history list. So that is this series here. So you can kind of look for this on the top, but they're the Nathan Hale series. These are kind of like graphic novels. Well, they are graphic novels that tell history stories. These are great for boys who are reluctant readers. Like my son has eaten these up. My daughter was never very big on graphic novels, so you know, a lot of times if this came up in a curriculum, we would skip that one for her, but my son will devour it. Treaties, Trenches, Mud and Blood, a World War I tale, and Raid of No Return, a World War II tale. So we got two of those. We have a Life Explorers, a Century Ago, the Roaring Twenties, the decade that changed America. So this is one that's really more like photos and short articles, but all about the 20s. So I think this will be a good resource book to have. Then let's get into some of the used books. So the one thing is if you order them used off Amazon, right, they're all going to ship from different places at different times. So you might end up with 10,000 packages on your steps at one time. But for me, it's worth it because, you know, even if I'm saving like $2 or $3 per book, with the number of books we purchase in a year, that really starts to add up. Okay, I have from Margaret Peterson Haddock's Uprising, 3 young women caught in a fire that changed America. So that's this one. This book says, I'm trying to remember what this one's about. Okay. This is about a fire that occurred at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory in 1911. Okay, a fire that led to one of the worst workplace disasters ever. So this should be interesting. We also got another Harry Houdini book. This is Houdini the Handcuff King. Looks like another pretty short little book, but oh, it's a graphic novel. Oh, go figure. All right, so graphic novel on Harry Houdini. Next mystery package here. I mean, like, I know what I ordered, right? But you never know when things are going to come. So it's kind of like Christmas getting to open up a whole bunch of books. Okay. Oh, another Bill O'Reilly book, Killing Kennedy. This one, The End of Camelot. So we've already read Killing England. We read that for his history class last year. I have in the past, I've read the Killing Crazy Horse book as well. So we're doing this one, and then Bomb, The Race to Build and Steal the World's Most Dangerous Weapon. So I'm guessing this is the atomic bomb. More of a general read on this one, but actually doesn't look too bad. I mean, that's a pretty straightforward read on there, but I think all of that history behind like what they did to develop the atomic bomb and all of that was, I know it's pretty wild. I can't remember what, maybe it was for world history, his world history class. We read a graphic novel called Trinity. That was something. Children of the Dust Bowl, a true story of the school at Weed Patch Camp. So this is, okay, kind of like a photo book. So lots of pictures with bits of information. So his modern American history class, if you did not see me do any of my videos on it, it will pick up, he did early American history last year. So his modern American history class will pick up in 1900, and then it'll take you through modern times. So books, a lot of these books are going to cover kind of this past century. Very, very, very dreadful. The influenza pandemic of 1918. Yeah, so I taught a world history class last year out of the home. And I did a very big unit on World War I. And we talked about this, how the flu pandemic that was occurring at the time, in many cases caused more deaths than the war itself. The flu pandemic was really bad in 1918. It was terrible. And just what, like, you know, the hospital staff and nurses were going through and everything was just, I mean, it made nursing like I do it today a cakewalk. So this is about that flu pandemic. And, oh, I might need scissors to get into this one, maybe. There we go. Drowned City, Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. So remember I told you that we were going to be getting up to modern times. So a graphic novel about Hurricane Katrina. And of course, if you're my age, you probably remember that vividly because I want to say, I think I was in college when Katrina happened. I remember right. Prisoner B3087. What is this one about? Survive at any cost. 10 concentration camps, 10 different places where you are starved, tortured, and worked mercilessly. It's something no one could imagine surviving, but that is what Yannick Gruner had to face. A Jewish boy in the 1930s Poland, he was at the mercy of the Nazis who had taken over. He is forced from one nightmarish concentration camp to another. Okay, so this is a World War II story. And as far as, again, I always kind of look at like the print and things like that to get an idea of like, is this going to be a dense read? Is it going to be a quick read? Now, World War II stories, in my experience, it doesn't matter how long they are, they capture your attention, and then you just read and read and read and read and read. So I have a feeling that won't be a problem getting through that book at all. Oh my goodness. Tearing some of these packages open. Probably should have just grabbed scissors or like a box cutter, but I'm lazy, so... Okay, FDR and the American Crisis. So this is probably one, okay, now to give you an idea, let me see if I can show you. So when I talk about like them being like okay or in good condition, you can see like the spines might be a little bit worn or the corners a little bit worn, but like in general, the books are fine. And again, like some of these books are like expensive if you buy them new. So buy them used, guys. There's no reason not to buy them used. Okay. This one actually looks like it'll be a little bit denser of a read. My guess, though, is if I were to look at the reading list, is we're probably going to read excerpts from this. So, but this is, oh, okay. I guess it's going to talk about his life, his rise to the public eye, his struggle with polio, and how he dealt with the Depression and a world war. So, there we go. No, we're not done yet. I told you it was a book haul. I mean, this was my porch. I think the our delivery guys think I'm crazy. Most Dangerous, Daniel Ellsberg and the Secret History of the Vietnam War. Now, I have personally not read much about modern American history as far as books go. I just haven't. So I'm actually excited to read these along with my son. In 1964, Daniel Ellsberg was one of the Pentagon insiders helping to plan a war in Vietnam. So he helped plan it, and then I guess he turned against it. He had access to a top secret government report known as the Pentagon Papers. Oh gosh. Okay, this is the story of the 7 bloody years that transformed Daniel Ellsberg from a government insider into the most dangerous man in America. So this could be interesting to read for sure. I'm kind of ashamed to admit, like, I'm just not that knowledgeable about, you know, most of American history up until about 1950. I have a pretty good grasp on because I've read so much about it and I've taught so many classes on it. Modern American history is a weak spot for me, so I need to read up. The Vietnam War, a graphic story. So another graphic novel. There's lots of graphic novels in this go round, but my son loves graphic novels, so it'll be great. So Vietnam War. Sunrise over Fallujah by Walter Dean Myers. So this is on Operation Iraqi Freedom. My son's father fought over there during this time. So this might be interesting for him because, you know, this is part of his dad's history. So, you know, we obviously are very familiar with that, you know, because again, that was my college years going through that. And then another Walter Dean Myers book called Monster. This one is, gosh, okay, it just says Stephen Harmon's black. He's in jail, maybe forever. He's on trial for murder, and he's 16 years old. I'm trying to see if there's a synopsis on here beyond that. It just says, okay, so it's kind of got like a dialogue on the back. It says, sometimes I feel like I've walked into the middle of a movie. Maybe I could make my own movie. The film would be the story of my life. No, not my life, but of this experience. I'll call it what the lady prosecutor called me, Monster. So, oh gosh, I actually have no idea what the synopsis of this book is, guys. I'll have to look it up, I promise. Anyway, so this was on his reading list as well, but it looks like it's a National Book Award finalist and has a couple of other awards that it won as well. So that's on his list. Ooh. Oh, 2 more in here. The 9/11 Report, a graphic adaptation. So this is a graphic novel about 9/11. So this might be an interesting introduction for, especially if you have younger kids and you're, you know, maybe if you as a family do anything to recognize September 11th. You know, we always did. We always kind of stopped what we were learning about that day and talked about what happened and why it was important. When we took the kids to New York, we took them to the 9/11 memorial, and we went through the museum and everything. And my husband and I were telling the kids about, like, because we remember actually, like, you know, very vividly where we were at when it occurred. So this would have been great to have when I was first teaching my kids about this. So, but this will be part of his modern American history. March, book 1. And this is a graphic novel. Let's see. Congressman John Lewis was one of the key figures of the civil rights movement. This is sharing his story from an Alabama sharecropper's farm to the halls of Congress, from a segregated schoolroom in the 1963 March on Washington, to receiving beatings from state troopers, to receiving the Medal of Freedom. So it's his story. I believe I want to say there was like 3 books in this series, and the curriculum, I think, recommends the first one which is, again, graphic novel. And maybe has the second and third one as like, you know, kind of like ranked lower, but like if you wanted to read them, I can't remember if it was just that or if I saw it suggested when I was buying it. I can't recall. Okay, next up. Okay, I'll open that box last. So I have been doing a lot of personal reading. Now, these are books. I actually had copies of some of these books already, but I'm teaching a literature class this year. I'm teaching like a 7th, 8th grade literature, and I had to pick novels that I wanted to do with them this year. I needed to pick 4. So I actually went back and I bought new copies of some books that I've already done. All of these books, so I've already done with my kids at least once, but I wanted to grab a copy, like annotate it, think about it, and decide which ones I wanted to teach. So I'll tell you if it was one that made the cut or not. So I am teaching them Animal Farm this year. Animal Farm is a great short read. If you've never read it, it is one very long allegory. It's telling basically what was happening in Russia during the communist revolution there. I mean, you can directly align characters in this book with characters with real people in the Soviet Union at that time. And it leads to a lot of great discussion about, well, the negative sides of communism and how it never turns into what you think. Well, basically, like the goal is communism, but they always end up with fascism or socialism. So it's a great tool for teaching that. So I have read this personally. I think this summer I read it for the 4th time because I read it once in high school. I read it before I taught it to my kids. Each of my kids did it, but they did it in different years. So I read it 2nd and 3rd time then, and then obviously reread it this summer. I have No Fear Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet. I actually ended up choosing the No Fear Shakespeare, Macbeth to do with the class that I'm teaching this year because I always like to teach Shakespeare. But I did reread Romeo and Juliet. So these No Fear versions are actually really great. Just to show you kind of what it looks like, you get the original Shakespeare on one side and you get the English translation on the other side. I always recommend when you know, kids are reading, they block off the original, right, or the translation, and you read it and you can discuss it with them, try to make sure they understand what it means, and then you can use the translation. What you don't want them to do is just read the translation. You want them to read the actual original Shakespeare, but it is very helpful, especially, you know, if you don't have a lot of experience with Shakespeare. So we have that one. The Odyssey, I really wanted to teach the Odyssey this year, but we ended up doing so we're doing The Hiding Place, Animal Farm, Treasure Island, and Macbeth. So but I told him, I was like, if I teach this class next year, I'm gonna do the Odyssey because I think the Odyssey is a fantastic, challenging book. It's a great story of heroes and tragedies, and there's so many different lessons you can teach from it. It's just great. This is the Penguin Classics version of this. So my daughter did the Odyssey and she did it in middle school. So it is doable. It is, you know, it's a bit of a beast to get through, but it's a great book. So, and then I was on the fence about teaching either a Emily Dickinson poetry, whoops, books are falling, Emily Dickinson poetry unit in my course because I wanted to do at least one shorter unit that wasn't a novel. I wanted to either teach poetry or essays. So I was torn between Walden and Civil Disobedience. So these are actually two shorter works kind of bound together, this or a poetry unit. So I decided I would do a poetry unit because I don't know how these kids that I'm teaching are going to, you know, what they already know and what they don't know and everything. And I thought, well, you know, we're doing some novels that are going to take a lot of thought. So, you know, maybe I'd hold off on this and I would do poetry. So that's what I'm doing there. This one I purchased for myself. So I traveled to Glacier National Park this year, and we also stopped at the Crazy Horse Memorial. And so we were visiting like a couple different shops within the parks, and they had tons of books, tons and tons of books. And I love to buy books. And if I'm at a national park, like my go-to is always to buy myself a mug to remember it and try to find a book. So I picked up a couple of books to read. And this has actually been something I heard about for a while and I'd been wanting to read. This is called Braiding Sweetgrass. indigenous wisdom, scientific knowledge, and the teachings of plants. So this is written by a botanist, Robin Wall Kimmerer, and okay, so she's also a member of the Potawatomi Nation. So this is kind of like the things that you can learn from plants. I thought this sounded fascinating. You guys know me, I love plants. So maybe, hey, my guest hollow friends, this might be something to add if you're doing botany. I'm really excited to read this. I just gotta find time to do some fun reading. All right, we're almost done, guys, I promise. A few more. I also picked this one up. The Old North Trail, Life, Legends, and Religion of the Blackfeet Indians. So we were, like I said, we were at the Crazy Horse Memorial. The last time I had been to Crazy Horse, I was a junior in high school. And they actually had pictures kind of showing the progress over the years. So it was kind of wild to see what had been done since I was in high school. So, 20 some odd years ago, and where it's at today. And I mean, it's incredibly, it feels like incredibly slow progress, but then when you look at it over that time period, it's wild. But this is about the Blackfeet Indians, because they were near there. So this is more of, a book for me, but I love history, and it's just an area where I don't know as much, so I want to read more. 1491, New Revelations of the Americas Before Columbus. This is written by Charles Mann. I have no idea really what to expect with this one. But this is, let's see. It says, contrary to what many have learned, Columbus did not land in a sparsely settled, near pristine wilderness. There were the Aztecs, native cultures that had figured out how to create corn in specialized breeding processes, Indian cultures in the Amazon. So I don't know. I think this could be interesting to read. So I'm just gonna take a gander at it. I don't think this is one where I'm going to sit down. It's a huge book. I'm not going to sit down and be like, this is the only book I'm reading. This will probably be like one of those ones where I'll be reading other things and I will stop and do a chapter at a time. But I'll let you know what I think on this one. I picked up a couple of books to be science resource books. Another class that I'm teaching this year is a science class. So this is another one of my out-of-home classes. And I love the idea of different ways to help kids remember. And so I picked up these books. These actually might be great for your kids at home. These are coloring books. There's a physical science coloring book, an earth science coloring book, and life science coloring book. These are created by, it says Spunky Science. Anyways, she had a whole bunch of different ones. And they're coloring pages on different science concepts. I thought, well, that is so cool. I love this. I thought these would be, pretty fantastic to use as just kind of review worksheets, something like that. I don't know. But I picked them up because, you know me, I'm a sucker for cool stuff. So just some examples here. They weren't that expensive. And I found these on Amazon. So these were new on Amazon. But if you've got middle school, high schooler who likes to doodle and needs some things for review, maybe consider this. Okay, I have one more. Let me get this. All right, now I did an intro video for Guest Hollow's Junior Modern American History a couple weeks ago. It was just released. Oh, it's so pretty. Can't wait to show you guys this. Okay. Now that's middle grades, modern American history. So the history my son is doing, but just modernized, okay? They had a textbook that Jennifer Guest wrote. So she is one of the co-founders because she could not find a spine text that she thought really worked for middle grades. And you could buy the textbooks separately. It comes as a PDF download. It's a huge, 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 huge book. 790-ish pages, okay? But she had instructions in there on how you could get it bound, and they had a pre-uploaded version on Lulu. Now I followed, okay, some people have said that they've gone and they're like, it's so expensive to get this printed. Okay, so I followed the link to Lulu that I got when I purchased the textbook. So I purchased the textbook, I get a download, and there was like a little one pager that said, hey, read this first. And there was a link to where it had already been uploaded onto Lulu. It had all of the presets in there. I didn't have to change anything. I literally just clicked add to cart, and it was like, after shipping, I don't know, like $90, $95. It was under $100, guys. Look at this beast of a textbook. It is huge. It is huge. Huge. This is ginormous. It is so big. For 90 bucks. Okay, look, I have bought college textbooks. I mean, my daughter is going to college this fall. Guys, her textbooks are half this size and cost twice as much. So, oh, it's so pretty. I'm so excited. All right, so my son is going to be using this along with his other books in modern American history. Why? Because it's gorgeous. This is gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Okay, if you're doing modern American history with your kids, I mean, seriously, this is worth 90 bucks. I'm sorry. It just is. It's gorgeous. It's just a beautiful textbook. And now he's got a physical book that he can read, and I have another beautiful book to add to my homeschool library. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I'm so excited. Okay. Lulu is where I got this printed. Not Barnes & Noble. I got it printed on Lulu. Follow the link that you get when you purchase it. But that's the cover. But I mean, it's huge. But I'm so excited. I'm so excited. All right. That is my book haul for right now. I have got books everywhere, and I've got wrap all over the place. But I hope you enjoyed opening up and checking out these books with me. Very excited to start diving into them and having my son dive into them for his class this year, and also for the literature class that I'm teaching this year. I'm really excited to be doing that. I know somebody had asked me, they'd emailed and asked if it was open to homeschoolers. Now this one's, it's through a private school, through a classical school. But if that is something, I don't know, maybe in the future, if, you know, I always keep everything that I teach, you know, all my records and how I do things and everything. So who knows, maybe a future literature course would be something that'd be cool to teach. We'll see what I can do. Anyways, thanks so much for joining me today for this video, everybody. If you have picked up any great books this summer, or any books that you're really excited to use with your homeschool students this school year, drop a comment down below and let me know. Or if you've read any of these and have any insights on them, let me know, because I have a lot of reading ahead of me. A lot. It's going to be very easy to hit my 100 books a year goal. Like, no problem whatsoever. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, happy homeschooling.